What's going on, y'all? It's K Star here with this, that, and the third podcast. Today I'm gonna be talking to y'all about the law of gender. So a lot of people think that males need to only hone in on a masculine energy, and that women need to only hone in on a feminine energy. But the truth is, you know about yin and yang, you know about anything with balance, you'll understand that masculine energy is at its best when it has feminine energy to balance it out, and feminine energy is at its best when it has masculine energy to balance it out. So I'm gonna give you a little like brief summary of exactly what the law of gender is, even though I just explained it. The law of gender states that both genders possess a divine femininity and a divine masculinity for the respective genders. And we are at our best when these two energies are in alignment with our higher consciousness. So, what that means, when these two energies are aligned with our higher consciousness, is when we are at our best in terms of operating in the yin and yang and operating balanced within the masculine and balanced within the feminine. So, as a man, you may think that you need to do manly things, like things that are manual with labor, or things that require a lot of energy, things that have to do with being a sole provider. You may look at those as you may look at that as masculine energy, right? But really, those are just manly actions. And in terms of feminine energy, you may think you need to wear pink. You may think you need to just like women may be taught that they need to submit, or you may be taught all of these things of what it means to be a woman. But really, what you're being taught are actions. You're being taught women actions or womanly actions, I should say. Like I said, you need to align these two. These energies are at best when they are in alignment with our higher consciousness. So it's not about the actions you're doing and whether those are masculine and feminine, because actions are just actions. It's about the drive behind the actions. So something that would be masculine energy, while yes, you can be doing things that a man does. You can be doing things that a man does out of feminine energy. You can be doing things that a woman does out of masculine energy. The example that I can best say to kind of practicalize this for you guys is an example of a man screaming at somebody, right? A woman or somebody upsets a man, right? And a man says, you know what, I can't take none of this. These aren't conscious thoughts, but a man is like, you know what, I'm mad right now. I'm angry, which is an emotion. And they act out of their anger. So, you know what I'm saying? You just made me mad, so now I'm hitting you. Or you made me mad, so I'm shooting somebody. Or you made me mad, so I'm screaming and I'm doing all of these things that are looked at as masculine and hard because men are usually the ones doing it and they're so aggressive. And we look at anger as a masculine trait. But in reality, what's really happening is this man is tapped into his femininity when he does that because expression is a feminine trait. Expression and creativity are that of not of the female, but those are that of the divine feminine. So when a man gets mad, right, or a woman gets mad, not that's not masculine nor feminine in that manner. But the expression of that anger and the expression of the emotion is where the feminine comes in. So a lot of people think they're very manly by expressing themselves a certain way. But what a lot of people don't realize is that expression at its core is a feminine trait. So when you're expressing yourself, you're expressing your emotions specifically to anybody. Understand that that is feminine. That's why the expression of emotions is meant to be gentle. The expression of emotions is meant to just be clear and raw. You're meant to express your emotions exactly how you feel them, and it's not meant to be taken with a sense of judgment and personalization from somebody receiving those opinions because expression is a feminine trait. So understanding how to deal with your anger or understanding how to transmute the energy behind your anger, that is something that I can't say is masculine or feminine, but that expression of that anger is feminine. And I wanted to explain that example to for you guys to understand that it's not about the actions you're doing, but it's about the alignment of these two energies with your higher consciousness. Next bullet point we have is that feminine energy can be expressed as thought and action and can be seen as masculine energy. Like I said, you can have feminine energy and express it in a manly way. And in that way, it's very important that you separate the earth from the spirit in these terms because on earth, we people have a tendency that when they're not connected to the spirit that you're connected to or connected to the spirit at all, certain things can get perverted which is why the masculinity and femininity, the definitions of those two words have been perverted. And what we think of as society as masculine is really manly, and vice versa, femininity and what we think as feminine. So really understand and hone into the drive behind your actions, or the drive behind the materialization of what's going on in your life, rather than focusing on the materializations themselves. Next, we're going to see that feminine energy nurtures while masculine energy drives forces. So I just watched a video recently called The Power of the Divine Femininity. And in that video, this lady named April Mason, I believe her name is. I believe she's a doctor. She talked about what's called the female exchange, right? She talked about how a female cultivates and a female creates, and a female not creates in the sense that like a female can sit here and like create a material just out of thin air, but it's called Mother Universe for a reason. And source is known as the universe, and source are the same. And we look at the universe as feminine because the universe is about creation, right? So what a woman's job, or not job, but what a woman's nature is to nurture people, nurture all the energies around, and to create. So what she talked about in the video with the feminine exchange is that a lot of the times when we look at relationships and when we hear a man say, or when we hear women talk about that they want a man to provide, she talked about that a woman is not going to get a man that, because providing is something that we see as traditionally masculine, right? And that's true. Providing, or the feeling of wanting to provide for a family, or wanting to provide for the people around you, comes from masculine energy. But when women talk about there's not enough of that masculine energy left in the world, and there's not enough men that want to provide, it's because as women, like, she was saying in the video that for women, what they do for a man is, if the woman doesn't make the money and the man makes all the money and the man does everything in terms of like food, shelter, clothes on her back, things like that. She was saying that the greatest thing a woman can do for a man and for another woman is to do what she does best and create, specifically creating a space for the man to feel comfortable. Women are very in touch with their emotions, and women know how to make other people feel comfortable with their emotions. So, as a man, if a man comes home from a long day, or if you're a woman out there watching and your homegirl comes home from a long day or whatever, and she's just feeling really heavy, she's feeling these emotions a lot, and she doesn't know how to really go, he or she does not know how to go through them as a woman. And what this female exchange kind of touched on is that the pure presence, like the not just physical being there, but the energetic and spiritual presence of a woman, and that impact of that feminine energy on a man is calming, and it balances all of that masculine energy out, and that masculine urge to provide. And when the physical gives you signs that you're not providing enough, that feminine energy is there to balance that masculine, to balance out that masculinity. Because if you're acting in your masculinity and you feel like you're not doing enough, you're going to only get more masculine and less feminine. You're going to be honing in on your femininity too little, and vice versa. If you're too feminine and you're trying to hold into your masculinity, you're not going to be able to. So what that feminine energy does is it allows the man to get back to balance. So as men, and for women out there that feel like they may be too into their, or not too, but if women that feel like they may be too emotional or too into their femininity, what's very important is that we realize that we don't have to go outsourcing for this balance, right? It's a universal law, because we are all connected to the universe, because we are all a whole encompassing fragment of the universe. So all these laws that are happening on the outside, like that's how people look at them. Oh, these are universal laws, so they happen in the world, but they happen inside of you first. So you don't have to wait till you have a physical woman there to provide that feminine energy. You can tap into the feminine energy that is already within you, and but you can use that to balance that masculinity and that femininity within you. So that's what that yin and yang really touches on. Doing is an embodiment of masculine energy, while being is an embodiment of feminine energy. So your state of being, caught when you, or we talk about, me, you and I talk about cultivating this state of being to drive what you do. The only way to cultivate and tap into that state of being and to really get to where you want to be is to really take the time to sit with yourself and be gentle with yourself, to be calm, to tap into your emotions. All that deals with femininity, and that's why. And it's the opposite for the masculinity. Masculinity is about doing. It's about that drive that you just get up and just go, just do stuff like do. Like Jew talked about in the video where he was talking about law of inspired action. It's important to realize that these both need to be balanced. So it's really great to do all this work almost or do all of these practices to become the person you want to be. But if you're not doing anything, nothing's going to change. And not doing anything is also a reflection that you're not really who you want to be. And if you're just trying to do a bunch of stuff, you're just going to be going in circles, not really getting to who you want to become. So it's a cycle. You need to become who you want to become. And then that'll lead you to do certain things that you'll learn from. You'll do different things that you'll learn from. And that'll feed back into who you are. And you'll be able to just continue to elevate. So it's really all about that balance, like that balance, and that's with all 12 and more of these laws. It's really about balance. Like, and just the last point right here, just to kind of understand, so you guys can kind of understand what is feminine and what is masculine. Feminine energy has to do with your intuition, while the masculine energy has to do with intelligence. Female intuition deals with creativity and the fostering of relationships, while the masculine energy is about the application of that creativity and the leadership in those relationships. So, again, just to go back to the last point about being versus doing, you need to tap into that feminine, and it doesn't mean that girly, soft energy like a lot of people really think it means. It just means feminine energy, which is creation, intuition, gentleness, emotional intelligence. Those are things you need to tap into so that you can operate on a masculine level at your best. So that was a brief synopsis on the law of gender, and I really hope that helped you guys to understand the difference between masculinity and femininity, girly versus manly, how to apply the law of gender to your life, and how to apply it to everything you do. This case started with this and the third podcast, and we out.